Flyer. Have you seen type boom? Let's see.
I've seen it too. Me, I've
Can
seen
you
it
please
already.
type? Can you please utilize the chat box? Thank you.
Okay.
What?
Boom, 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 boom. And it's that same energy. I want you to go and scatter your WhatsApp status. Remember, the link we are using is still the link we created yesterday, which is the access to challenge. It is the access to challenge link that we are using, and I need you to go and scatter your WhatsApp status as regards that, right? So that is that. I'm super excited. I'm super elated. I want to believe that I've gotten your notepads ready. You have gotten your pen ready as well. And of course, it is going to be another roller coaster of a ride. Let me tell you one interesting thing about the person we are going to be having this evening. This person is a crazy person. And when I mean crazy person, like when it comes to execution, this person is just ruthless. So he's the kind of person that speaks less, but I mean, when it comes to action, I'm about to take action. I'm about an action taker, right? And is somebody that I respect so much. I admire his work ethics. I admire his what's the English? I admire his kind of focus. He is self-driven. I remember when he was telling me last time, Ezekiel, see, I shall know that I am going to Dubai this year. Whatever will happen, I don't know. Right? So yeah, and he was able to hit targets. He was able to hit target and be like, okay, fine, Dubai, here we come. He was able to surpass his goal. So in a world filled with distractions, in a world filled with, I mean, people doing different things at different times, how are you able to focus on one? I mean, yes, how are you able to stay on one purpose until success? And what's that feeling of focus again? Focus on something until success or something. You understand? So, how are you able to focus on your focus? As J.O. will say, how are you able to focus on your focus? And that exactly is what you are going to be getting tonight. This is just a prelim of what you are going to be having this Friday. Friday is just about 2 days away. So if you like, don't come. And Friday, let me tell you one thing that will happen on Friday. I'm going to open the room 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. Close the room 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. So you are just going to see that somebody is trying to enter. I will just deny you access because trust me, Friday is going to be choked with a whole lot of activities, and let us stop there. Let us stop there. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to put in some booms. Type in some booms in the comment section, like boom, 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 boom. For the person we are going to be bringing up tonight is, I mean, is a ruthless executioner. He's a ruthless executioner. When he does something, when he says he wants to do something, he goes with it head on. No distractions, nothing, nothing. So imagine you learning from someone like that. And majority of you have known him before, you have seen him before, if you have been following the due process I've been asking you to do, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, make welcome with me, billionaire Sam. That is Samuel Akorede Ajibowu. Samuel, are you there? Good evening.
Yeah. I'm here. Good evening. Good evening.
Samuel, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. Good.
Your mic is muted though.
Okay. How about now? Good evening. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you.
All
Good
right.
evening.
Good evening, everybody. Good to be
Nice
here.
to have you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Ezekiel, for the hype and
This
the.
is my mentor, guys. This is my mentor. He's the one that I look up to when it comes to making
I
money
don't mind
online. So,
Ezekiel, Jerry. Well,
yeah,
it's good to be here. I'm
yeah.
excited. I'm excited. It's an honor for me, and I want to first say thank you to Ezekiel. Thank you for this platform. I don't take it for granted, and it's an opportunity. Anywhere I find myself, in a place where I'm privileged to give out information, give out knowledge, share my own experiences with people. It's always a privilege. It's always an opportunity to learn more, to meet new people, and interact and make more money, of course. Of course. So it's nice being here. Thank you so much, Mr. Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel was the person that brought me on board into Netflix at the time, and been it's been glorious ever since. I thank God, and I also appreciate Mr. Ezekiel. So good evening, everybody. If you can hear me, if you can see me, can we just have some boom in the comment section? I so I can be sure we're communicating. Just put up some boom, boom, boom there. Put up some boom. If you can hear me, if my voice is clear, everything is clear. All right. I just want to be sure that we're on the same page. All right. So just put some boom. I've not seen any boom. All right. My network, my voice, everything is clear, right? Like everything is quite, very, very clear. All right. Nice. Nice. Okay. I think Mr. Ezekiel can tell me how many minutes I have because I have one. I don't know if I'll call it a weakness. If I start talking, if that thing,
Just fire on. Just
if
fire
I start
on.
talking and that
Just,
thing comes upon me now,
when your time is up, I will hint you.
so I can just turn it to crusade and do other calls. So I just have to know.
You say crusade.
All right, all right. So I was speaking with Ezekiel yesterday, and we're just talking, and he said, "All right, he wants to have me here just to share my own experience." Because I was like, "Okay, what do you want me to come and talk about?" He said, "Just come and share your experience and everything basically." So there's really no structured topic, so don't expect me to read up stuff from scripted stuff. I'm just, I came on board just as we spoke and all of that. So basically, he wants me or he asked me to share my own experiences so you guys can also learn from my experience and inculcate it to what you are doing. Because, of course, I'm aware we are on a challenge, right? We are on a challenge, and he wants me to share my own experience so you can see how to, out of this, learn from my own experience and see how you could fuse it into what you are already doing to maximize and get better results. All right. Now, I'm going to start by sharing a bit of my own story, my own internet path, and how I've come and how it could benefit you. Because most of the time, you get to learn more from people's stories. Basically, many times you get to learn from those things between the lines. All right. So I'm going to start this way. I'm going to start this way. Let me start with my journey in Netflix. I think that's going to be an ideal way to go about this. Yeah. All right. So I remember speaking with Ezekiel at the time, and when I started affiliate marketing Lenifix around April at that time. I think I started around April, and you know, one of the first things I said to him then when I started was I wanted to hit 200 sales. Basically, that was like my target. Like I wanted to hit 200 sales, and at the time I came on board, I think it was like 6 weeks to the launch, full launch. I think it was about 6 weeks. That was when I signed up that time. Yeah, so it was like 6 weeks to the full launch of LAP at that time. So it was still, the price was still different and a lot of things. So I came on board and I was like, okay, you know what? This thing has been since like last year. There are so many people on board, but this is my target and this is what I want to hit. I'm sharing that story because I know we are on a challenge. All right. So I want to like share my process with you so you could see how you could learn from that process and utilize it or personalize it to your own personal self. All right. So I told him, okay, I was like, okay, this is my target. I need to hit 200 sales. And at the time, I came on like 6 weeks to, the whole thing closing. And I know I needed to, hit up that number of sales before that time frame. So one of the first things I did then, like before I even started, it wasn't like I already knew I'm going to hit it because my mind was already there even before the sales started pouring in. So one of the things I did was first one of the things I did was first, there was the conviction and belief in my mind without any doubt. There was conviction, there was belief, there was emotions. I don't know how am I going to tie it. Now, let me explain it this way. Let me explain it this way. Now, we don't pursue after things, yeah. we attract things to us by virtue of who we are becoming, right? So you don't pursue things. If you want things to come to you, you grow in such a way whereby you could attract them. Now, one of the things that spur that growth or that causes nature, let me put it that way now, nature or God or the universe, anyhow you want to interpret it, make things come your way is when you tie emotions to that goal you want to achieve, that target you want to achieve. You need to find a way to tie emotions to it. If you can't find a way to tie emotions to it, it will just be another goal that you've written on paper or written somewhere, and it might become difficult for you to hit it. So the moment you add emotions, I don't know how to explain. I just hope I'm not speaking off now because I don't know. Maybe what I'm saying is sounding strange, but I'm just telling you exactly how it was for me. How it was for me. Like I had to find a way to, mix emotions with my goal. It wasn't it wasn't a static, it wasn't, what's the word to use? It wasn't just something that was just there. There was a whole lot of emotions with it. So there's that emotional connection with that target I wanted to hit, and that's like the first step. After having the goal, the number of sales, the amount of money you want to make, that thing you want to reach, I think it's something that applies to every all walk of life. It doesn't really has to be meeting a money target alone. Do you get? So I believe it's the same principle for any kind of goal, anything you want to achieve. You have to be emotionally invested in it. So it was far beyond just writing it and believing it. There was a lot of emotions, infused in that thing. So I was sleeping and eating and dreaming about it. There was an obsession basically. You know how maybe if you're a guy, you see one pretty lady and you liked her and all of a sudden, this obsession. Well, I don't know, probably our guys can relate, but I've been obsessed about a woman before. So something like that. So there's this kind of obsession. Like you can't just you as in it's beyond what you can control logically. It's beyond what you can control logically. There is this obsession with that target I want to hit. So in my subconscious, I'm thinking about it. In my conscious self, I'm thinking about it. When I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about it. When I'm eating, I'm thinking about it. So as in it became so the obsession was so high that it entered so much into my subconscious. Do you get that? I began to see what I'm saying is not funny. Yeah. So the obsession was so high that it entered so much into my subconscious that I began to picture a lot of things. You understand? I began to picture a lot of things. Ideas began to come into my mind. Strategies began to come into my mind because one thing that happens is this. One thing, one of the ways God created the universe is this. He doesn't release ideas to you to one person. They come in bunches. They just go. You get anybody that is opened enough, that thing come and land and rest on his head. That's the way I see it. You understand? Those things are just there. They are there because ideas are not tied to people as individuals. You get if you don't implement, somebody else is going to implement the same thing we're thinking about. So your job now is to create an atmosphere for that idea to come to you. Let me use it that way. You understand? Your job is to create an atmosphere for that strategy, that idea you need to come to you. And the way you create that atmosphere is by getting emotionally invested in that thing, getting getting obsessed, having a healthy obsession for that thing. That's how you can attract the universe to come and back up your goal or to come and back up that thing you want to achieve once you are emotionally invested. Do you understand? And that is why the moment you think of or you decide that you want to get a particular bag or a particular shoe, you begin to see it everywhere. Do you understand? Now, what just happens is that you've so thought about that thing that your subconscious has swallowed your conscious of, and your mind begins to become hyper once it sees anything that relates to that your goal. Do you understand? So your brain becomes hyper to the extent that once you see anything that looks like your goal, you get it. You have this goosebump. Like people don't see it, and you just see it, and you're wondering, are these people not seeing this thing? Do you understand? So once there's emotions, intertwined with your goal, which might be financial in this case, the particular amount you want to get, it attracts the universe to make it happen. The universe begins to bring opportunities, begins to bring strategies, begins to bring the how. Because don't forget, your goal is something that you don't really know how you want to achieve it in the first place. Because if you already know how you want to achieve it, already that's not really a goal anymore. Because you already know you are setting the bar too low for yourself. Do you understand? And that way you can attract the universe to come and back you up in achieving that thing. So it's always something that is bigger than your current capacity. It's always something that is bigger than your current capacity. So because it's bigger than your current capacity, it makes you grow into that person that can attract it. You understand? It makes you grow into that person that can attract it. So, because that thing is bigger than you at the moment, at that time, your brain begins to think of so many things. The universe begins to bring a lot of ideas. A lot of thoughts start gravitating towards your mind because you are thinking about that thing consciously or subconsciously, and you are emotionally invested in it. So, those things begin to come. And as they come, you start implementing. The fact that it came to you, it comes sometimes, it comes like discernment or intuition. You just know. Sometimes they are not things you learn. Do you understand? They are not things you learn. You just the thing just come like, okay, do it this way. Do you understand? And as it comes, you just implement. Now, the fact that it comes that way doesn't mean it will work anyway, but you have to do it. Do you get that's the way you learn to trust yourself, because the more you do the things that comes to your mind, you trust your mind to give you the right thing to do. Do you understand? And how am I going to put it? Will I say you trust the universe to keep bringing more ideas to you or stuff like that? Because the more ideas are coming, you don't implement, the more that road is going to get blocked. Do you understand? That place inspiration is coming from is going to get blocked. Do you understand? So the more you are invested in that thing, the how begins to come. Because once you set a goal, many times you don't even know the how. But because there's emotional investment and you've been thinking about it, your mind begins to show you how. It might tell you that, okay, take up this person's course. It might tell you that, okay, go and read up this book. You find yourself gravitating towards things that you don't know how. Sometimes you just stumble on YouTube and you stumble on a YouTube video. You think those things are just by chance, but they are not really coincidental. There are things that are working directly. Those things are inner workings, basically. They are just beyond what you see physically. It's the whole system of the world on its own, working in alignment with your mind and your goal. Do you understand? To ensure that thing comes to manifestation. So you might just get on YouTube and you get on a random YouTube video, and that YouTube video might just tell you exactly what to do. So sometimes you think it's coincidence. Some people may say it's God talking to them, fine, but even if you are not a believer, it happens to you. So some might say maybe they're Muslim, it's Allah. Some might say it's the voice of God. Some might say it's philosophy, it's universe, but it happens to everybody. That's what I know, regardless of what you believe in. It happens to everybody. So once that your mind, your emotions, all those things are in alignment, your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, your system is in harmony with your goal, everything just begins to work in place. So it might be a random YouTube video. It may be a random person that just walks up into your life. You might just not know how. It might just be your legs that will take you somewhere. And they may just be having a seminar where somebody will just say that the exact thing that you need. And you just take it and implement it. And it gives you results immediately. Do you understand? So that's how it works. I'm speaking more from the non-physical dimension now, from the angle of things you can't see, basically, because when it comes to goal, it's not everything that is 1 plus 1 anyway. When it comes to some of these things materializing, do you understand? The 1 plus 1 is people see, do you understand? But there's a whole lot of things that happens that is beyond what you can really see and explain. Even when you explain them, that's why people can take the same thing, it won't just work, because yours is beyond just the doing. There is a spiritual backing to what you are doing. There's this harmony between you, your emotions, your actions, your goal with the universe. Everything is in sync. Do you understand? So as you are doing that thing, because it came uniquely to you, that result comes. Do you get? So if someone copies it, it might not be able to work for that person, the way it did for you, because it's just something that has to is beyond just physical action, basically. You understand? So that those are part of things that were working for me, and still works for me till now. And like I said, it's something you can apply in anything. In anything, you have to get yourself to be in harmony with your goal, and of course, that goal has to be bigger than your current capacity. Do you understand? If you're already making 100K before, you're setting 100K goal, you're just doing nonsense. Do you understand? It has to be something that will stretch you. Because if it's not something that will stretch you, it will not stretch your mind. Do you understand? Let me use another example so you can understand what I'm saying better. So you can understand what I'm saying better. Now, I don't know if I should draw my screen or I should write something on a paper. All right, so let me say something again about attraction and how things work. Now, naturally, the way we're designed, we are designed to attract things, right? I said it before. We are designed to attract things. You don't really pursue things. If you pursue after them, they keep running. Do you understand? If you pursue money, money keeps running from you. If you pursue a woman, she keeps running from you, basically. Anything you are pursuing, the thing will just be running from you by default. Do you understand? Let me give you a classic example. Some of you might, if you are familiar with all these marketplaces, you get to a market and you discover all these Igbo guys are rushing you. What do you want to buy? What do you want to buy? You discover that the first thing you do is that it builds a resistance block. It's the same thing that happens in sales. Everything. Once you are pursuing, that thing is bound to run. So once you get into the market and all of them are rushing you, waiting one buy, waiting one buy, by default, you will leave them and go to a shop where the person is just seated inside. Because they are pursuing you, you are bound to run. You want to sell to somebody, the more you are trying to buy this thing, the person is bound to run. Do you understand? That's how it works in every sphere of life. So you have to, put yourself in a position where you are going to attract that thing. Do you understand? And that's the example I'm trying to, illustrate because you are meant to attract. Now, to attract something, you have to grow into, you have to become a different person entirely. Do you understand? Now, let me give an example now. Someone that is making, let's say, 100K before wants to start doing 500K or 600K or, something more. What that means by implication is that initially or his current level, he's at a level where he attracts 100K effortlessly into his life. Do you understand? So to start attracting something bigger, he has to grow into an entirely different person. Now, what do I mean by growing into an entirely different person? That means the habit has to change. The maybe the strategy he's using has to change. The kind of books he's reading has to change. The community he's part of has to change. Do you understand? That's what I mean by growing. So, by virtue of you now becoming something much more than you are, you begin to attract something far, far bigger than your current level. Do you understand? That's how it works. And with growth, you just discover a lot of things begins to change. Sometimes you cannot even explain how your results are changing because you don't pay exact attention to some of these things. But because you are investing your time in growth, in those things that is going to make you become somebody else, somebody higher than who you currently are, you start attracting a higher level of results. I don't know if I've gone off course completely now or or I'm still saying something that I'm supposed to say.
We are following you back to back. Just keep
Okay.
firing.
Okay. I think let me calm down now and talk about physical stuff that you can do. I think I've talked so much about I think I've talked so much about the non-physical parts to it anyway. But the truth is this anyway. If you can get the non-physical part right, the physical is going to follow suit because everything you see is always controlled by things you can't see, basically. That's just the truth. So if you get it right from the back end, everything at the front end is going to fall in line. That's just how it works naturally. Do you understand? So ideally, actually, that's what you should pay more attention to. Things like your emotions, your mindset, your habits, your those things that are practically you can't touch, you can't hold. Do you understand? Ah, look at my friend. So those things you can't see, you can't touch, you can't hold. Once you invest your time more into those things, automatically they are going to affect the kind of result you see physically. You understand? They're going to affect the kind of result that you begin to attract, basically. All right. So, like I said, let me now go to some physical things you can do. I think I've talked a lot about the non tangible, or how do they say it now? Some of those things you can't necessarily see, you understand. So now I'm coming to physical strategies, like things you can do, like point blank. All right. Now, the first thing you have to do is, first of all, like, okay, abstract. Yeah. I don't know, whatever word you want to use. All right. So the first thing you have to do now basically is to like write it down. All right. What is that thing you want to hit? What is that goal? What is that thing? You have to write it down. Okay, this is what I want to do. That's like the first step. I'm giving like a point, a bullet point kind of stuff. All right. You write it down, like you make it as specific as possible. All right. I want to lose so kg of weight. If you want to lose weight, I want to make so. Do you get? I want to, or if you are a single brother like Ezekiel, I want to, have a by you get with a time frame and everything. You understand?
You're not
So
casting me on top national television.
you
Well
say
done.
you say what?
I said you're casting me on national TV.
No, no, no.
Well
Look
done.
at Grace is dropping an emoji. I think one of them here is maybe one of them on the crush like that.
Go
So
ahead.
so they are giving you green lights. All right. So back to what I was saying. So once you've defined the goal and you've written it down, okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to do. You get, and you've put it down. And of course, like I talked about, getting emotionally invested. You've tried to, put up all those things because there are structures to get you emotionally invested. Do you understand? Those things can also be done mechanically. You understand? Because getting emotionally invested in something is not something you can decide. Like you can't just decide and it will just happen. Do you understand? So there are things you do that is going to make you emotionally invested. Basically, there's a mechanical way to make it happen. You understand? Because you just have to make it happen. That's emotionally getting emotionally invested. You understand? You have to make it happen because that is what makes that thing, brings it to life. Basically, you understand, and it adds a life to that thing. Once you write your goal and whatever, it's like when God made man. Do you understand? Then the breath is more like that emotions. Once you put emotions in that thing, you've turned it from just a physical thing now to a being as a whole. You understand that emotions? It's like what turns it into a being. So without that, basically, it might just be something on paper. It might just be dead, basically. But that emotion is what brings it to life. You get, and makes the whole universe to partner with you to make it happen. All right. So once you've done that, the next thing is okay, how do I make it happen? Now, of course, you write a goal without thinking of the how. That's the normal and standard practice because if you're always thinking about how, it's going to, reduce your bar and limit your way of thought. You understand? So first off, you just put it there as it comes. All right, this is my next goal. This is what I want to hit. This is the particular amount I want to hit, within so time. You understand? Now the next thing is you begin to task yourself, okay, I have written this thing down. This is what I want to achieve. This is the time frame. Now, how do I make it happen? Now that's where you spend a lot of time, in how do I make it happen? And that is where you begin to do a lot of meditations. I don't know, I'm still going towards that part you cannot see. You understand? Because sometimes if you just take strategy 2 plus 2, you might just try it and it might not necessarily work because it's not mixed with a lot of emotions and stuff. You understand? But these things are what produce unique strategies for you as a person. You understand? So you've had it down, then you begin to spend a lot of times in meditation. Okay, how do I make this happen? Then because you are adding pressure to your thoughts, you are adding a lot of pressure to your thought. Now as you are thinking, your mind definitely, yeah, emotions is a big factor for me. It's not for me, for everybody. Even if people can't define it as emotions, but people might not be able to define and point blank that it's emotions. But emotions play a big role in making that thing. That's what gives you
You
that
know,
connect.
Samuel, before you go ahead, it looks like you've been on this challenge since day one because basically 95% of what we've been saying is based on things that are not said yet, which of course has to deal with the mindset
Yeah.
and all of those things that we have made mention of. So maybe this is just confirmation that somebody that have strong head, you have to head. You say you don't want to have a very strong mindset. I mean, this is another confirmation that
Oh yeah.
what you are saying here work. Just like curious. Go
Or,
ahead, sir.
or is also a confirmation that one of those ladies that dropped an emoji is eyeing you too. So after the Zoom call, all right. So let me go back to what I was saying. All right. So my network is. Please, if you can hear me, oh my.
what we've been saying before and and what we are discussing now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, he's going to come. He's going to join soon. He's back. Back.
Can you guys hear me? Like, is it clear? My network got cut off, so I just changed the network,
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
and it's clear.
Yes, we can hear you
And
now.
it's clear, right? Like it's clear. It's flowing well. All right.
Right now, it is clear.
Somebody said I should. Okay, okay. So I don't know if you guys got the last line I said anyway, but the one I was talking about Ezekiel was fine. Let's just leave it. You guys didn't hear it, fine. All right. So I said, okay, after having the goal and the rest, and you've try to mix it a lot with emotions and try to get emotionally invested. Like the way you get that happen is by constantly thinking about that thing, constantly thinking about how you're going to make it work, constantly thinking about how do I achieve this thing. And like I said, these things only happen once the goal is far far bigger than your current capacity. If it's something that is within your reach, you are going to get you as in there will be a lot of laxity around it, and you won't just have that push. All right. So definitely has to be something above your reach at that time. You understand? So because you are mounting pressure on your mind, you are mounting pressure on your person, you are mounting pressure on your belief system, you are mounting pressure on everything that has to do with you, basically, because it's something that is beyond your capacity. Now, your mind naturally begins to attract those things you need to do. Like I said earlier, those things you need to do are already there in the universe. So, what you are doing is that you are trying to force that thing to come to you. Do you understand? They are there. Do you get these things? How am I going to put it? Now, let me explain it this way. It's just like God has already set up the whole universe on automation. That's just the word. You understand? So that's why some of these things, they're not things you pray for. No matter you pray and fast, they're not going to happen because those things are set on automation. The way you have your WhatsApp automation, where those things are attached with keywords. So until you put in that keyword before you are going to get that thing. Do you understand? So if you don't type in save now on my WhatsApp, you're not going to get access to my WhatsApp group. You get those kind of automation you do on WhatsApp. So those things are tied to specific keywords. You get they are tied to specific things. So until you do that exact thing, you are not going to get a specific kind of result. So they are not things you can pass through either by praying or by fasting or whatever you want to do. At best, even if you are praying and fasting, God wants to help you. If He still send you back to go and do that same thing, you get and all of that. So there are specific things you have to do. Then it attract that thing. So those things are already there. Like I said, the way you have your tool and you set up the messages, that's just how God had created everything. You understand? So you are not trying to invent something that doesn't exist. You are only trying to attract that thing that is already existing to come to you. So once you mount sufficient pressure on your mind, you mount sufficient pressure on your belief system, your mind begins to attract those things. Like you begin to play those cards right. Can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, let me see something in the comments. I don't know if this network is going well. If you can hear me, like my voice is clear, just put clear, CLEAR. If my voice is clear,
Yes, we can hear you.
okay,
Clear.
okay, okay. I felt as if nobody's hearing what I'm saying. All right. So once you mount sufficient pressure on your mindset, on your belief system, it begins to bring those things you need to do. All right. Now, those things you need to do might not necessarily be one big you get. So you don't have to, get biased. It might be things like, okay, pay for this course. It might be things like, okay, go and read up this book. It might be things like, okay, you just accidentally, find yourself on YouTube and a particular video just pops up. You understand? Because you're already mounting pressure, your mind begins to get into those spaces, like those exact keywords you need to put for certain actions to be taken, like on WhatsApp autoresponder. You understand? So your mind begins to enter into those spaces because you're mounting sufficient pressure that then those things begins to come. You understand? It might just be like I said, talk with this person, go to this place. Those things happen without you knowing. You understand? But all these things are working to help you attain your goal. You understand? And one key, like I said, for you to make this thing work is that as those things are coming, you have to be executing it. Like you have to execute it. There's no guarantee that it's going to work, but it's always going to lead you because this thing is not a straight line thing. You are setting a goal, you are setting a target. It's not a straight line. Like there's no you can't figure the end from the beginning. Do you understand? There was something I put on my WhatsApp yesterday or today. I said, you can only see your next step. And once you see that next step, take that next step. Do you understand? You might not see the next two steps ahead. So is in the faith you have, the belief you have that this your next step will lead you to the next step is what is going to produce the next step. So you won't see two steps ahead, you only see one step. Do you understand? You want to make like I'm bringing it back to money, 500k, 1 million, whatever. The step you might be seeing immediately is the one that's going to bring in 20k. It might just be the one that bring in 10k or something. But as it comes, you have to execute it because the next step you are going to take is tied to you taking the step you already seen. So you might not see beyond your nose, but within what you can see, you have to take it up. You get so those ideas come from your mind based on the kind of pressure you're mounting on it. It begins to attract those things from where they are, those thought realms somewhere. I mean, maybe God has one realm and he has poor ideas and everything, and you get so they are just left for them to come to you, so you execute them. You understand? So those things begin to come. As they come, you have to execute. Because if you don't execute, they're going to die off and they will just stop coming. Because like angels are going to post up and when they come, you are not utilizing them. And of course, the parable of the talents now. They give you one, you didn't use, they give you two. That one you have will be collected. Do you understand? So it's always tied to you utilizing what you have. So you don't have to figure out three steps. Once you figure out one step, you execute in that one step, in the execution of that one step, you figure out the next step. That's how it works. In the execution of the next step, you figure out the next step. So it's not like three, four, five at the goal. So, like I said, those steps can be something like, okay, pay up for this guy's course. It might be something like, okay, read this book. It can be something like, okay, watch this YouTube video. It can be something like, okay, try out these things. You execute as it comes at the speed of thoughts. Do you get? You don't have to wait. Like, if you want to do a class, I'm just trying to give like the way those kind of things come to me. It might just be like, okay, run this class, run this ad. I don't have to wait for flyer. I'll go and carry my old flyer and go and use it. Sometimes I'll just edit, I'll just put it on Figma, change one, or I use it again. I do it very, very well because sometimes those kind of things come to my mind. I'm trying to think, okay, how do I do this? How do I expand this? How do I just, it just comes, okay, do it this way. I put it before I even want to know whether it's working or not. Do you understand? So I just go and put it. I don't wait because the more you delay, the more that tenacity to execute is going to die down. The more the tenacity to execute is going to die down. So you keep meditating on thoughts, on thoughts, on thoughts, and you never do anything. Do you understand? So as you've put it down and you are constantly mounting pressure on your mind, on yourself to grow into a person that can achieve that result, those things start coming. So as they come, you execute. As they come, you execute. So for Ezekiel now, it can be talk to this lady, the lady that was dropping emojis. Do you get all this kind of, all this kind of stuff? Do you get? So as it comes, you execute. As you are executing, you are seeing the next thing to do, like that, like that, like that. And in the long run, you just discover that everything just works together and the wonderful picture now comes up at the end of the day. Do you get? There's this adage that says you can't connect the dots. Sorry, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. Do you understand? So what that means is that the step you are taking now, you might not know where it's going to lead you, but at the end of the day, you are going to turn back and you now understand why you attended the Zoom meeting today. Do you understand? The attending of the Zoom today, you might not even know why. In fact, what I'm saying might just be useless to you. It might not make any sense. Do you understand? It might not even make any sense to you now. That's how it happens. But at the end of the day, like you might have gone 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in the future. Then you now turn back and understood the main reason why you were here. That's how it works. So you can't connect, you only get to connect the dot looking backwards. So as it's coming, you are executing. That's how it works. As it's coming, you are executing. As it's coming, you are executing. Then in the long run, you now understand, okay, this was the reason why I did this thing that time. This was the reason why this thing was coming to my mind. Why there was a lot of pressure that, okay, do this thing. Do you understand? So that's when you begin to understand. And by that time, you start forming the bigger picture. Do you get? So that's how you achieve goals, basically. I don't know. I don't know if I can stop here now because I don't really know. Like that's just how the whole thing just came like that. You get tonight. I don't know if I did justice or if everything I said is very abstract. Or you want me to come and give you killer
All right.
strategies?
You did more than justice. You did more than justice. Thank you so very much.
Or
So right now, I would appreciate if we could just use a case study, for example. Right. So right now, everybody is on a challenge,
all
and
right.
I challenge them to start with at least for them to write a book.
Somebody asking a
Right.
question. Okay.
And majority of them have started the process and all of those things. So taking a look at all of this that you have said, and taking a look at the invisible slash the visible and all of those things. Now, when it comes to putting in the work, when it comes to the physical aspect of it, for a newbie,
Yeah.
like for someone like a beginner, how do you think the person can really start on a high pedestal, even if the person has no experience in sales, the person
Okay.
has no experience in anything? you know, Taking a look at this challenge, for example, now you want to hit your goal of 100K in the next, say, 18 or 19 days or thereabouts, you understand? So, how are you going to take it from the scratch to building that 100K goal?
All right. All right. So, as I said earlier, let me just build from there. I think I got a question. All right. So I was talking about how this invisible part, influences what happens at the end of the day. All right. So you are a newbie, you are an old B, you are whatever B. I'm seeing a question here. I'm going to come to it. All right. Now, as I said, the idea is executing as it comes. See, one of the issues people starting out usually have, you get, is something that once you break, then you get to some rank. You're always like, I think first imposter syndrome, like you keep feeling like you're not good enough. Okay, you see someone's result and you're like, what? What did this guy do? How did this guy make how many sales? Like, what the hell? Do you get? So you also like imposter syndrome. I am battling with I'm battling with imposter syndrome like a lot of times. You get, and that time I thought it's something that has to do even when you're starting. The truth is that even when you grow, you still have this imposter syndrome vibes. That's even the truth. It will still be there. It's not like I don't know how to explain it. It's something that you most likely are still going to combat. So you have to find a way to how am I going to put it? Separate yourself from from your results. Separate yourself from that field. Let me come this way now. One of the things, like what Mr. Ezekiel is saying, you are starting and you're trying to like, okay, figure out what exactly to do. And probably you're also looking at the environment and you're like, how am I going to get this result? Number one of the things I did when I was starting out first to help my mind, because you have to help your mind. You have to help your mind. Now, let me, I'm digressing again. Let me give another example of helping your mind. Now, when God was talking with Abraham in the Bible, I believe many of us here are Christians, or we know that story. Even if you're not a Christian, just flow with the story. Now, when God was talking to Abraham in the Bible, He told Abraham that he's going to be a father of many nations, right? And Abraham did not have one single child, right? Now, Abraham didn't have one single child, right? Now, God did something. God asked him to, count the stars in the sky. Like God took Abraham on a walk, right? He asked him to count the stars in the sky. He asked him to, count the sands in the seashore. Now, what was God doing? God was helping Abraham's mind because Abraham could not conceive and believe that it is possible. Now, I said something earlier. I said you need to find a way to mix emotions with your thoughts. If that does not happen, that thing you are believing will not happen. Do you get? And it is possible for you to believe something with your mouth, but your mind will not believe. I don't know how to explain this, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. You can try to believe something, but your mind will not be. Let me give you an example. Some of you believe, I don't know, I'm coming to this Christian, to this Christian side now. For those of us that are Christian, some of you believe God can raise the dead. But yes, you say yes. But you just believe in your mouth. Like, if they bring that person to you now, you say I'm a Christian, but somehow, you believe, but your mind can't still believe at the same time. Like, it's like two of them are coexisting. Like, you believe and you cannot believe. And you're like, why? Do you get? So, one of the ways you do that is by helping your mind. So, God had to take Abraham on a walk. So, by the time Abraham could see the stars, could see the sun, he could have a mental picture because your mind cannot process thoughts without a reference. Your mind cannot process thoughts without a reference. Now, for some of us before now, you were thinking it is not possible for somebody to do 500K a month. I'm just giving you an example. You thought it was impossible. But because you've entered different ecosystem and you have now seen people with your own eyes doing 500K a day, all of a sudden that unbelief waves away and you just discover you can now believe. Do you understand? So that's the way of helping your mind to believe. Do you get it? That's what I'm trying to explain. So if I find difficulty in believing something, I try to find somebody that has done that thing. once I find that person, automatically that unbelief is going to get lifted. Do you get? If I think this thing is not possible, but somehow I find this fight is not possible, is possible, I try to find someone who has done it. Once you see somebody that has done it before, you just find out that without effort, that unbelief will. So God had to take Abraham to see the stars, and so that thing created a mental picture in his mind to help Abraham's mind to believe. Because basically he just believed God. Yes, he's God, he can do all things, but he didn't still believe. Like, I don't know how to explain it. He believed God, but somehow there was no emotions, there was no faith. Like, this thing didn't look how. Do you get? But having a mental picture, okay, this is, you get, seeing those things create an image in your mind. So you now know, okay, this thing is possible. And that thing I did then, like I said, I had to block, I was using WhatsApp then majorly. Then I had to leave Facebook, you get. So I had to block familiar faces basically, because at that time, especially when you're trying to start, you want to lock out negative energies. What you don't want to have is negative vibe. Like, what is this one you are doing? You are scamming people. Like, because those things will get into you, especially if you are trying to start. Maybe a loved one or a voice you trust just come and tell you one derogatory statement, like maybe you are backsliding. Why are you selling? What is this one you are putting on your start to say you too you have joined them? All those kind of talk. Do you get? So what you want to avoid are those kind of things. What you want to avoid is those kind of things. So like for me, I blocked family and friends, like everybody, and church members, everybody. Like I think March was when I wanted to start all this internet thing. Like the first night when I saw it's possible, like how is that for me? I paid for somebody's class. And I was like, look at the number of people in this class. See what this guy is making. I said, no, we're entering this internet thing together. Like what? That was just what pushed me inside. Like it wasn't like I passed through it. You get? I just paid for one class one time, and I was like, no, 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 no. I need to tap into this thing. You get? So I locked out all of them basically. Family, friends, church members, familiar spirits, people that I know they can come and give me one. Till today, many of them are blocked though. I didn't unblock them like till now because I used the line I was using before. I literally didn't change my WhatsApp. Do you understand? They are still blocked till now. Then I didn't start using Facebook for anything because I know their statements can weigh me down. You understand? Because there are people that let me use an example in the Bible again now. Hope I'm free to use an example. All right. So there are people that know you when you were in Egypt. Let me use that word. Let me just use something like that. You get? So that Egypt vibe that they know is in their mind. You get? So even when you left Egypt and you are now in the promised land, they still carry that Egypt mentality of you. Do you get? All those people that even if you buy Benz tomorrow, they will still look at you and be like, forget that guy. I sabi the guy. The guy grew for my eyes. Like we've been there the same compound. You get all those kind of vibe, all those kind of people that you know, no matter how you try to. So you have to find a way to lock them out. Then you need to find healthy environment to plant yourself in because whether you know it or not, you are a product of your environment. Do you get? So you have to go to places where you know it's conducive for you to grow. So if it's on Facebook, you have to join communities that's going to help your mind. Like I said, the Abraham example, helping your mind to believe. Do you get? So you join Facebook communities like John Obedi's community. Do you get? When you see people do things, yourself, you'll be like, okay, it will help you think, it will help you grow, it will help you shape in your mind. Do you get? You block out all those guys like I did, family and friends, wow, church members, wow. Even my pastor back then, I just didn't want any. Do you get? So I'm not saying you should do the same, but people that you know can give that negativity, you need to lock them out. Then you need to follow those guys that you can see them that have gone ahead of you. So once an idea come, execute. I don't just know how to explain it. You just have to do it. If it's, you want to do something, you don't have to wait for graphics designer to be ready. You don't have to, as it's coming, pour it. Do you get? If you are selling something and let's say you use WhatsApp, just write it on your WhatsApp status and put out the offer. Do you get? Just put it there and just see. You talk about flyer later. You might not have designed landing page. Just put it. That's how it helps you to believe in yourself better. Do you get? I don't know. I've expanded and diverted from the whole question now, but but I just hope I tried somehow to answer the question. I don't even know if I remembered Ezekiel's question again. I know I was just saying something entirely. I'm seeing one question here. Let me just try to answer this. Then I'll hand over back to Ezekiel. Or should I go off? Maybe I'm.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. We dey feel you now. Go ahead.
All right, there's a question here by Captain Sona. She said, in a situation whereby you take the step, but knowing too well, okay, I think I answered this somewhere in what I said, but knowing too well you are surrounded with people who feel what you are trying to do isn't just right. How do you fight it? You block them now. What is, how do you fight it? You don't fight, you run, block, like, disconnect from them. That's the only way now. Like, there's really no way around it. You don't fight. Do you get? You don't try to make people understand what you are doing. Let them figure it out on their own. Do you understand? If there's negative vibes, they just cut them off first. Do you get? Cut them off, because the first resistance you're going to face are family and friends and familiar people. You have to cut them off, because, see, one thing you have to understand is that virtually everything that is going to lift you up are in the hands of strangers. That's just the truth. Virtually everything that is going to help you in life and death, they are in the hands of strangers. They are not necessarily in your immediate family. Now, does that mean your family don't like your progress? No. But sometimes they can love you too much that they won't allow you grow. Do you understand? So it's not like they hate you, but they can love you so well that even when you want to take action that will help your life and destiny, they want to counter it. Not out of hatred per se, but of course, at the end of the day, it's not going to be healthy for you. So you need to find a way to cut off. That's just the way. Cut off, then plug yourself to the right environment. Once you've stayed around the right people long enough, you are going to start doing what they are doing. Like, you just find yourself exhibiting a lot of new traits and all of that. So it's just natural. All right. So I don't know. I think I'm done with that question. So Uncle Ezekiel, Uncle Ezekiel,
You know that you will scatter ground. Small matter like this, you don't come on knife.
I'm
Well done, sir.
I'm seeing her here in the comment section. I'm just telling you.
Through the invisible lines. So thank you so very much.
All
Thank you
right.
so very much. Any further questions? Any further questions? Any further questions? Some
I can't hear you.
naturally
I can't hear you, Ezekiel.
everybody.
I can't hear you, Ezekiel. Is it you or me? Is it my network or your network?
Guys, can you hear?
Person,
Can yes, hear the both of you. I can hear you. I can hear exactly. I can hear the two. Maybe
Network from someone.
is it my network? Is it my network?
Is your network, sir?
Are
Is
you,
your
are
network,
you
sir?
serious? My premium network.
Go and climb mountain. Go and climb tree.
No, I have so many networks here. All right. So okay, I think it's good now, right? Is my network me? How? Okay, let me sharply do a subscription now. I'm coming. Please, guys, just give me a minute, please. I'm trying to change my network. I'm trying to recharge, like put data on the other line.
Action with are strangers, right? The kind of people you do trans. Most of you don't know vibing. By the way, the most interactive of this night, right? To cause casala is just to be causing just broke bottle today in one of the groups. But that's the point. the point, and for you to be able to meet people on a new scale. Ah, I am very good at that. Right now on my state, yeah, and as well as other people as well.
Omo. Omo, is my network still misbehaving?
All of this, I mean, you might necessarily be seeing some comments as regards what to do and all of those things, but just one statement from somebody, especially if it comes from your family members and all of those things, can just weigh you down. And that is one of the reasons why I'm not.
See, their numbers aren't saved. Where's this? This is good.
Experiment new things. You don't have to wait for flyer before you begin to make noise. And as you always say, the person with the loudest voice is the what? The person who makes the loudest noise does what?
Make loudest money.
Makes the most
Makes
noise.
the loudest noise.
Makes the most
Thank you.
money.
So there was a particular time I updated my what was it called? I updated my Facebook cover picture. I updated my Facebook cover picture, and then I think I've lost the picture now. I turned the picture was me holding a check of 1.3 million naira. For you guys to know that Sussex get friends, I updated the cover photo and I updated my profile picture. Nobody liked my profile picture because they saw 1.3 million naira
Anyway,
in cover photo. In this life, it is not everything that should be on social media. I'll be like, how did you get your way? How did you find yourself?
how far? How far? I did shout. Are you serious? Now my normal talking voice be that now. Are you serious? Better no bear so. Better no vex. Better no vex. Man, no shout. I don't shout.
Samuel, you want to say something?
I don't shout for it.
You know that I don't know where
Yeah, I was some fun on my
but I
mind.
want sleep. I need to sleep. Sam will call.
I never even chop. I never go see it in Barry. This night. My network has started slacking. Please, thank God I've done most of it.
Airtel now. Maybe Airtel you use.
And now, see, I'll do Airtel sub. I'll change them with this one. It
No,
will
use
misbehave.
Airtel. Airtel should be stronger.
And that's what I'm
From your
saying.
MiFi now, I thought you have a general
It's
MiFi.
on my phone now.
Oh, me ever since when I used because there was a time I wanted to make a call. I used it on my MiFi. It was very fast. I didn't get any downtime.
But at least the thing shall allow me flow small. Now towards the ending, everything just let me speak. My data apply first finish, so I will try again. I just did daily, let it just
Yeah.
back. Oh, see what is done. Need to go and get something to eat now. Probably will to that.
Since it's late, I don't be on mine. Let me discuss it with you. I don't feel it. I was on the call now. Ah,
Even though this thing I was recording, so
how much did you stop? This is not off now. I want me to go.